Hey guys, thanks for joining me again. As you can see behind me, these shelves are in a bit of disarray. I just received confirmation today that I was accepted for the apartment in Chicago that we had applied for, which is fantastic news. It also means I've got 2 weeks now to move. And a lot of that is packing up my books. I've already packed up, since our last video, I've emptied 3 more bookshelves. I still have these behind me and a few in the corner, which means more has to go, which is why we are doing another unhaul today. We just did an unhaul like a week ago, and we've got another one. And again, it's a very large one, so let's get into it. First, 2 books. We've got these really cool Aesop's Fables and Moby Dick. I really like these editions. I don't know who they're from, but they've got these like embossed covers. Really cool, but they're going. We've got Thunderstruck here. I've had this for a little bit. The story on these still look good, but I don't have room. You're gonna hear that like a million times. I'm just gonna say it now. 90% of these books I still would like to read. I don't have room to take everything with me. I've got some boxes going into storage. I've also like already packed a lot of those boxes, so I'm running out of room, which means some of the ones that I still want to read are going. Everything Ravaged, Everything Burned. This is a collection of short stories. Darius the Great Is Not Okay. I'm Not Dying With You Tonight. I think this one is just going to be a little bit too young, a little too YA. Her Fearful Symmetry. This is by the author of The Time Traveler's Wife. This is by the author of, yes, that author wrote that book. That just sounded really weird. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I did read this one, as well as Hollow City. Honestly, I thought I already got rid of this one like 6 months ago. I don't know if I somehow missed it or what. Say You're One of Them. And then Fresh Water for Flowers. Next, we've got some Anne Rice. I still want to read Anne Rice a lot. I hear really good things, but these are really like large, hardcover, heavy books. So, and I find a lot of her stuff in thrift stores, so I think this is going to be pretty easy to find again. First one we have is The Witching Hour. That light is going to drive me crazy. The Queen of the Damned. Taltos, I guess that's how you say that. Violin, love that cover, such a cool cover. And Lasher. Those are the Anne Rice books. Next, we've got The End of October. This is, I believe, like a thriller about a virus that breaks out. The Ghost of the Mary Celeste. 1000 White Women. The Dante Club. A Map of the World. Leviathan Wakes. I got rid of book 2 and 3 in the series in my previous unhaul. I was going through it and I'm just like, honestly, how likely am I to want to read this more than some of these other ones? And the answer was not very likely. War Letters. Angelology. I just recently bought this. I still really want to read this, but Eureka Street. Those are our first 2 piles. We have Kagan the Damned. This is a Charles Dickens, The Mystery of Edwin Drood. I had never heard of this Charles Dickens book until I randomly found that. Friedrich, I think that's how you say that. I did read this in like middle school. I'm not likely to read it again. Guilty Pleasures. I read this last month. Didn't like it very much. City of Brass. I also read this last month. Did not like it very much. I got rid of book 2 and 3 in the series, also in my previous unhaul. Chairman Mao Would Not Be Amused. Cell by Stephen King. I read this Was it early this year or I think this was last year. I wasn't crazy about this book either. Oh, we've got another Anne Rice, The Vampire Armand. This big old hunk of book is like, oh my gosh, this is the art book. Look at that. Huge. This is like a coffee table book. It's really cool. Lots of artists. I love kind of just flicking through it, but this would take up like a whole box by itself. So, ow, my finger got caught. And then we've got The Secret Garden. I got this when I was in like elementary or school or something like that. Next pile, The Wild Girl. X. Cool looking book, but cool looking is not enough for me to keep it. Carve the Mark, as well as The Fates Divide. I still would like to read this, but not gonna anytime soon. We All Looked Up. I read this a few years ago. I didn't really like it very much. The Lost City of the Monkey God. Fallen Kingdoms. The Little Book of Huga, which is cute. I did read through a lot of this one already. The Air Affair. And then the Iliad. Next pile. This pile is just a lot of the classics for the, children's classic, I guess, edition. I love these editions. I've gotten rid of a ton of these in my previous unhauls. I'm just getting rid of the rest of them, unfortunately. I'd love to keep them, but they're big. So we got The Wind in the Willows, Call of the Wild, The Jungle Book, Robin Hood, Black Beauty, Tom Sawyer, That Glare, driving me crazy, Heidi, Robinson Crusoe, Kidnapped, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and Peter Pan. I have read all those books as well, so oh my goodness, they're about to fall over. Next pile. We've got Diane Wynne Jones, The Chronicles of Crestermancy, Volume 2. I don't have Volume 1, have not read Volume 1. The Skies of Pern, which is like an old fantasy novel. Another Diane Wynne Jones, Hexwood. This looks like Merlin. Did you guys watch that TV show, Merlin? That looks like the main character. I've got a copy of the Bible. I have another copy I'm keeping. This is a spare one. Story of My Life, Helen Keller. I did previously read this. I did like it a lot. I'm not going to reread it, I don't think. Fearless. This is kind of like a self-help, like religious book. Witchlight. Excuse me. Girls of Paper and Fire. I've had this for a while. I've known about this book for a while. I think I've just come to the realization I'm not really interested in it. And then The Bonesetter's Daughter. Oh my gosh. Next pile. We've got Humans of New York. I found this because I had followed the Instagram account. It's from the same person who does that, but I don't really like this one as much. It's mostly just pictures where I like to focus on the stories in the Instagram one, so that can go. The Merlin trilogy. We've got Waking Gods as well as Sleeping Giants. The Asylum. Stolen Lives. I believe I have a duplicate of this one. Angela's Ashes. I did read that a while ago. Codename Verity. This is one of the books that I just wasn't ever all that interested in, but I kept hearing it was really good. I've never gotten around to it. Standing in the Light. I got this not too long ago. This is one of the books I really liked when I was in like elementary or middle school. A List of Cages. I never got around to reading that one. The Rapture of Canaan. In my mind, it's always been Canaan. I did read this a long time ago. I can't really remember if I liked it that much. Horns. I did not enjoy this very much. We've got a Star Wars book. I'm keeping most of my Star Wars book, but I do have a small pile I'm getting rid of, mostly big hardcovers. This is The Weapon of a Jedi and The Swan Thieves. Next we have Pride and Premeditation, All Is Not Forgotten, The Extinction Trials. I read this for, oh, I've got like little, back when I used to annotate, that's funny. I read this for a book club pick. It was pretty good. I actually quite liked it, but I don't think I'm going to reread it. Blood and Beauty. This is about the Borgias. I still really want to read that. Gargoyle. The Gargoyle. The Gargoyle. The Lost World. The Chemist. We Sinners. I also really want to read this still. Silk, which is very tiny. And Echoes of Understory, which is a fantasy book I've never heard of before, but the premise sounded promising. Next pile, The Princess Diarist. I did read through some of this one. I don't believe I finished it all the way though. Eating Animals. I've got a few Rainbow Rowell. We've got Fangirl, as well as Eleanor and Park. Emma Brown. Come here, come over here. All You Can Ever Know. The Map of Time, which, cool. And Juliet. Another fantasy book, We Ride the Storm. Desolation Angels. Sun. I did just get rid of The Giver, so I think that's book 3 in the series. The Iron Thorn. Randomly a Cookbook, 5 Ingredients by Jamie Oliver. Oh, come hither. Empress, still really want to read this. This is about the Empress Wu, it says. The first and only female emperor of China. Peony in Love. I think that's how you say that. Binocular Vision. I've had this for quite a while. I haven't read it, so Hold Fast Your Crown. And As You Wish. I did read some of this. I hadn't finished it all the way though. I know you guys can't see this, but I am surrounded by huge piles of books. We've got Green Lights, Matthew McConaughey's memoir. I heard good things, but I didn't get to it. Outbound Flight, Star Wars. I Am C-3PO. The High Republic, also Star Wars. The Princess and the Scoundrel. This is funny because I got this as a gift. I do still want to read this, but they changed everything. Like for me, the Star Wars canon was before episodes 7, 8, and 9 came out. And this is, I guess this is a different way of them getting together, where I already read, what was the book called? The book in the old Star Wars canon, how they got together. I can't remember. It's gonna drive me crazy. The Truce at Baccarat, was that it? I can't remember if that's the one or not, but I guess this is a different explanation for that. Shatterpoint. Is that all the Star Wars? I thought I had more. We also have more Allison Weir, don't know, but I really want to keep these, but they're big books. So this is the 6 Tudor Queen series. This is Catherine Howard. We've got Jane Seymour. I'm sure I've got one of the Boleyn girls in here somewhere. Don't know where. The Second Miss Hackaday? Between the World and Me. I did read most of this. I actually ended up DNFing it. I just didn't care for it very much. The Lost Queen. Moonglow. The Crimson Petal and the White. Oop, still want to read it, but it's a big book. From a Buick 6 by Stephen King. I've read enough Stephen King car books now. because I've read that one. Side Jobs, I'm just getting rid of like all my Jim Butcher books except for like 2, I think I'm keeping. I found more Terry Brooks even after last time. More Terry Brooks. And 1 more Terry Brooks. 2 more piles left. Almost there. Okay, we have Ted Dekker. This is The Bone Man's Daughter. I can't remember if I've read this one or not. I've read a lot of Ted Dekker books, but that one isn't ringing a bell. And then, funnily enough, I've got Twilight, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn. I thought I got rid of these a while ago. These were actually being used on the very top of my bookshelf to hold up a picture frame. So, but they're going. And then I also have The Host by Stephanie Meyer. I keep getting pushed further back because this pile just keeps growing. Carrie Mora. This is by Thomas Harris, who wrote Hannibal, Silence of the Lambs. This is a completely different series. I'm keeping the Hannibal series, getting rid of this one. Escape. I still want to read this, but nonetheless. The Gilded Chamber. The Ability Mindscape. In the Shadow of Queens. Ooh, that's all right, we're almost there. The Parallel Apartment. Come here. Falling Man. Oh my goodness. The Ground Beneath Her Feet. Salman Rushdie. And then here is another one of the 6 Tudor Queens, the Lady Elizabeth. Is that it? That's it for now. I know I'm gonna have another unhaul before I end up moving. I've got, let's see, probably 12 sizable boxes I've already packed that are going into storage. And that emptied like 3 bookshelves, but I still have several more. And I'm like, well, some of these other ones I really want to keep, so I just have to. When I'm in a good mood and I'm feeling not as possessive of my books, I go through them and I'm like, okay, getting rid of, just because I'm in the mood to let things go. But right now, I'm looking at all these books and you know what, it's okay, because some of these I am giving to Second and Charles, which means I'm gonna get store credit, which means when I do have room and I'm wanting to buy some books, I can buy more books. But these are going for now, so that's okay. We have to let go of things. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me for another unhaul. Again, I'm gonna have another one, I'm sure, in like a week or 2. Fingers crossed that'll be my last one for a while. But thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.